It's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
And just like that, he came on screen. Sorry, everyone. My microphone was plugged out. My camera was plugged out. My lights were plugged out. My hair was all over the place. It just wasn't a great start to the stream. It just wasn't a great start. So to save standing here doing sign language to everybody, I said I would delay popping up on screen. But how's everybody doing? Manchester City come to town tonight to Villa Park. Tough game. As to be expected against the team that are gunning for to win the Premier League 4 times in a row, but obviously Aston Villa helped by some notable absentees, I think, from the Man City side. But yeah, it's a game that we can go into hopeful as opposed to expectant. And you know, as I always say before games, a game is played on paper, or a game isn't played on paper; it's played on grass. And Unai Emery has a habit of breaking bad luck and bad streaks and bad hoodoos against teams, and hopefully that happens tonight. With what I've said previously, will be a depleted Man City team. Aston Villa obviously coming into this with no major injury worries. Only just Traore, Mings, and Buendia being the massive injury worries, but like they're going to be gone for quite a while. It looks like Traore is going to be out for a while as well. But obviously Mings and Buendia won't be back before the end of the season. So we've got to do with the lot that we have, and we've got a pretty decent lot with the returning Alex Moreno, the returning Jacob Ramsey, and also you know, I would imagine Ezri Konsa is going to be played in the middle of defence tonight with Pau Torres, with Matty Cash out on the right hand side, whether it be further forward in a right midfield, or whether it be as a traditional right back. Time will tell. And that time will be in about 7 minutes' time. Where are we? Sorry there. I'm just trying to get the comments working. Matt Hallinan says, points for podcasters. Thanks a million, Matt. What does it say there? So jazzed for this game. Almost want it more than Arsenal, though. I know Unai would love to get one over on them at the weekend. Too many of my bandwagon City friends ready to rub it in his face. I wonder, Matt, is that a phenomenon in the US, that there's an awful lot of City fans in the US that have gotten to the game freshly, newly, recently, and have decided to follow Man City? It'll be an interesting one for you, because even here in Ireland, you don't see a ton of Man City fans. There's still all the legacy United and Liverpool fans, but even kids growing up, you're not tending to see that many Man City shirts anywhere where I am at the moment. People in Dublin might tell me different. And I'm just wondering, does that brand travel, or is it just new fans that come to the game? And there's nothing wrong with that either. You know, God knows, you know, when I follow NFL, or when a lot of Irish people follow the NFL, a lot of the times they will pick a team that's doing well, because it makes following, I suppose, a sport that you're not massively invested in, or that you're not 100% invested in. It makes it an awful lot easier to follow a front runner. But that'd be an interesting one for you there, Matt, if you have any insight on that as well. Sai mentions here as well that ref John Brooks has refed us 10 times. Actually, sorry, I think I saw Unai. Unai, good to see you, Unai. Unai says AVFC have won just one of their last 12 Premier League games on a Wednesday. Emery has never beaten Guardiola, and Villa have only won 7% of their games as City. Can you confirm? I said, I popped it into the chat there a moment ago. I don't know if you're watching live, but if you can confirm, that 7% stat can't be all time. It just can't be. But if it is all time, I'll be blown away, because that would be really interesting. I don't know how I suppose I don't know how many or how big a rivalry between Villa and City there were previously, like going back to the 80s, the 70s, even the 90s. It just that stat looks mad, but I wonder, is that just a more recent stat or not? It sounds like it's probably in the last 10 years, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if we've only beaten City 7% of the time. But yeah, as I say, it's something that we want to overturn. And Sai had it. Where did Size go? Oh, Sai had about John Brooks there a moment ago. Yeah, John Brooks, he refed us 10 times. We've won 9 and drew the other. So do your job again, Agent John Brooks. Do your job again, and we'll be very, very happy in this one. A couple of people mentioning here as well about the whole. A couple of people here mentioning about Zaniolo, Bailey. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. I'd probably say that neither starts. I think he goes with the combination of McGinn on the right, Ramsey on the left, with Kamara and Douglas Luiz in the middle. And now who plays up top, I suppose, with Watkins is the question. I would imagine it's going to be Diaby, but we'll see. We'll see. That's going to be an interesting piece. 4 minutes, or just under 4 minutes till we get that information as well. A couple of people want Ramsey to start. A couple of people want Zaniolo to start. And Sarko says that, I don't know, do you have it on good authority, Sarko, but you're saying there's no Cash and no Diaby in the team tonight. I wonder if that is the case. I've seen nothing on Twitter about different lineups or about people being out or whatever. I've seen no rumors. And a couple of you guys asking where Paddy is. Paddy is not here tonight. He might be able to join us when he's finished work or whatever, but he won't be here tonight. He said that on the previous podcast as well anyway. Gav D says, please Unai, play Konza at centre back tonight. Don't want to see him at right back, feeling confident. I want him to play centre half, not because I don't think he can play right back. That's not the reason. It's just I think he's, we're a more coherent unit with him at centre half. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in this today. I forgot to do something with the stream. I'm not 100% sure if you guys can see me properly, but if you can, you can. If you can't, well then probably better off, because today is not one of my finer days. It's been absolutely manic busy for me today, and I literally barely just got on to do the team sheet tantrum. But as I say, that's my fault and not yours, as is always the case. Just under 3 minutes to go to the team sheet being announced. Let's get back to your comments there. You can see me and hear me. Perfect. Flange says they would love to see Moreno and JJ start. I think they will. I think they will start. For me, I think that I would start them if I was naming the team. I just think it's a better setup. I want somebody to be able to. I want two people, should I say, to be robust enough to be able to take I suppose the level of effort that comes down their right hand side. Kyle Walker, if he isn't playing in a back three, which he probably will be tonight, but if he isn't playing in a back three, he is going to get forward in that right hand side. He's just a fantastic right fullback. But also if we've got a decent attack down that wing with Moreno and with JJ Ramsey, we're going to be able to pin him back too. So I think Villa will very much go out to play their own game in this in Villa Park tonight, with it being a home game. Unai doesn't tend to take a step back with regards to that, and I think that going with those two is going to be better for I suppose for keeping City honest, as it is for progressing Aston Villa's game plan. And Cat Cannon has given us the overall statistics for Man City versus Aston Villa. I think that's what this is. We've won 57, we've drawn 42, and we've lost 80. I would imagine that a lot of those 80, well, the majority of those 80 have come since 2010 or so. Because we just, as I said, don't seem to be able to buy a win against them. But that hopefully all changes tonight. And Andy Brogan has come in with that as well. Thank you very much. See, the most knowledgeable football fans follow this and watch this podcast as well. So Jordy Villain says, I've said it elsewhere, but regardless of the score, all I really want tonight is a fair playing field. No getting cheated by the officials, and I'll be happy, win, lose or draw. Of course, I want to win, mind. Yeah, I think we're good enough to win this game tonight. I think this team under Unai Emery is good enough to win tonight. Whether we will or not is another question. But also, I think that we're also, we're not the finished article, and even though City are going to be playing with a depleted squad, they're still a more coherent unit in a lot of ways than Aston Villa are. So, sorry there, I'm just getting distracted because there's stuff popping up here about the team and because the team is out, but there's still a more cohesive unit in a lot of ways than this Aston Villa team is. And the team is out, and they've gone with Unai Emery on the Chiron there. Martinez, Konza, Diego Carlos, Pau Torres, and Digne. So we're 0 for 0 in the back four from what my predictions were so far. McGinn, Kamara, Douglas Luiz, and Tielemans, Bailey, and Watkins. So the man Sarko got it spot on and bang on. No Cash and no Diaby in the lineup today, but they are on the bench. One interesting piece of news is that Robin Olsen is not in the bench for Aston Villa tonight. I'm not sharing my screen. Sure, I'm not. Philip Marshall is on the bench with Cash, Alex Moreno, Longley, Diaby, Zaniolo, Duran, then Donker, and Jacob Ramsey is there as well. Yeah, look, as I say, I'm not surprised by the team. It's like I would have hoped, I would have preferred to have Konza in there as a centre half, but seeing him out there at right back is, look, it is what it is. We're going to have to like, as I say, we're going to need him to do his defensive duties out there, which he always does. And we're going to need Diego Carlos and Pau Torres to front up with Erling Haaland. The big issue for me here is that Konza has previous, what I mean by previous, I don't mean they've had any contretemps or anything like that before, but he knows how to play Haaland, or he's played against Haaland previously. We've got two centre halves in there that haven't much, if ever, experience playing against Haaland. And I think that's big with someone like Erling Haaland, because he's in a lot of ways he's incredibly efficient, albeit he does miss some chances. But he wears you down. He's a battering ram, and he's also got unbelievable pace, and he can ping it in the back of the net, whether it's coming over his shoulder, whether it's behind him, whether it's bang out in front of him, whether it's 2 yards too far in front of him and you don't think he's going to get there. He'll stretch out his bionic leg. He is the most complete striker in the world at the moment. And we've seen that Diego Carlos and Pau Torres have struggled with strikers. Like, they struggled with Dominic Solanke as a pairing, the two of them at the weekend. And that's the only question that I would have with regards to them. They're both fine defenders, don't get me wrong, in their own right. It's just the movement of Dominic Solanke bamboozled them a small bit at the weekend. And that movement is going to be heightened again by an exponential percentage today, with arguably the best, well, not arguably, I would say the best striker in the world coming to Villa Park tonight. But look, Unai Emery is no mug, obviously. I don't think anybody inside here would ever suggest otherwise. And he's put out a team here tonight that he thinks is going to win. And but for all intents and purposes, this team is good enough to go and win against Manchester City at Villa Park tonight, because every single one of those players is part of the structure that Unai Emery has built, number one, and second of all has been in good form over the course of the first few games this season. I'm going to take down the team. I'm going to bring up the City team, and then we're going to get to some of your comments there as well on the team itself. So City have... Look, see, this is just what big clubs do, like Villa and City. It's just what big clubs do. You put out your team, 1 to 11. None of them messing about doing it alphabetically or numerically. It's just there. So Ederson's in goals. Walker, Ruben Diaz, Akanji, and Gvardiol make up what I would imagine is the back four. Stones and arguably Bernardo Silva in... Or maybe even Rico Lewis might be in there. I've seen people say Rico Lewis might play in that in that holding role, whereas here it suggests he is. Then you've got Foden, Bernardo Silva, and Alvarez and Haaland up top. Still an absolutely formidable setup that they've got there, and that back four is huge, and like huge in stature and also huge in talent. Every single one of those players is a fantastic defender there. So Aston Villa are going to need to be on their toes to try and get goals, even with that a depleted team today. Their substitutes bench are Ortega, Scott Carson returning back to Aston Villa. I think that's the big one. Of all the Man City players, I think Aston Villa would have, will give him a big, massive round welcome, because I don't think there's any other City player that's coming back to Villa Park tonight that would the fans maybe have taken to, like Scott Carson. I'm being facetious. Obviously, Jack Grealish, we love him, and when he come and he'll be in the stands tonight, and he's going to be watching the game. I'm saying all that in jest. Calvin Phillips, Nathan Ake, Kovacic, Sergio Gomez, Nunes, and Bob, the Norwegian guy there as well, that I can't remember his first name again. I think it's Ollie Bob. But yeah, they've got quite a formidable team out there, as I say. That midfield too, if you want to call it, and Stones and Lewis, neither of the two of them seasoned at that position within the Premier League, albeit John Stones can pretty much play wherever you want to play him at this point in time. He's just really, really great player, really good with the ball at his feet, and he's got great intelligence, footballing intelligence, with regards to positioning. So that's going to be formidable, but that's a mighty fine team that Man City have out. But our team is pretty decent as well. So just coming to some of your comments there as well. Where are we? So Paul Kelly says that City fans here in the US often support front-running teams like the Yankees, the Cowboys. Can the Cowboys still be considered a front-running team, Paul? Answers on that one. Can they? I think there was a time. But yeah, I don't consider them a front-running team at the moment. And Unai says, I remember 1930 well, don't you? No, it was actually 55 years before I was born, but history and statistics are history and statistics. And that makes a difference, I suppose, as well. Where else are we? Ryan Lee isn't in the know. He's an ITK, and one of his closest sources say Villa will win 2-1. It seems like it's been decided that it's going to be 2-1. I'm going with 2-1 for my result tonight because I'm really looking forward to this game. I really am. It's it would be an absolute barn buster if we were to go away and win this game tonight. I think it would be. I think it would be notable news and would really catapult us into a top four conversation, a title conversation, whatever way you want to call it. I see Dan Bardell was on Sky today, and the supercomputer with Opta gave us a 6% or a 0.6% chance of winning the league. And they gave Man City a 61% chance of winning the league. So that's the monumental task Villa have ahead of them today. And as I say, it's if Villa were to somehow pull a win out of this today, it would throw the cat among the pigeons. City being on a 3-game drawing streak at the moment, Villa were to take any points, whether it be a draw, whether it be a win against Man City, I think it would be front page news, to be honest with you, because with Liverpool and Arsenal obviously beating Luton with a last minute goal last night, Liverpool playing Sheffield United as well during the week. It gives them a march, and any points that we would take off Man City would give them a march on City at the top of the table, and also give us a boost, in the face of playing Arsenal at the weekend, and also Newcastle coming hot in the heels, on our heels, should I say, for fourth position in the league. So this game is it's red hot, and it should be in it. And to be honest with you, it's probably the game of the night. I know a lot of people and a lot of sports channels and stuff like that are talking about United and Chelsea, but both of those teams have been inconsistent. And all you have to do is pick up a newspaper in the last 2 days, and you see about Ten Hag losing the dressing room, and all you have to do is pick up a newspaper in the last 10 months. And you see about Chelsea's erratic form and their scattergun approach in the transfer market, which may come good in 5 years' time, but currently it's stuttering, I think, is probably the way I would call it at the moment. So anything Villa can do tonight would be incredibly, it'd be gravy, like it would be bonus territory. I think for anything we can get tonight, and arguably same at the weekend as well. And Sarko says, told you. So Sarko is, never doubted you, Sarko. Never doubted you at all. Matt Hanlon says, Villa have a 100% win record when Matt Hanlon skips work to watch a match. That's the stat I'm here for. Where else are we? Biff says he works with two old school Man City fans. After that, it's only kids I see around Offaly wearing Man City gear. Offaly need to get good at hurling and football again to stop the Man City in insurrection in towards Offaly. Get them back to wearing the green, white, and gold of Offaly again, Biff. That's your job. I'm putting it all on your shoulders for that one. Richie Ryan says he would have preferred Moreno ahead of Dina. of all the people that are in there, I probably would have preferred JJ instead of Tielemans. Not that Tielemans has been bad. I just think the game probably suits JJ a bit more going up and down that wing. But bringing him on with 30 minutes to go is still going to be fine with me. He's going to see game time today, and he's going to have a say within this game as well. And I wouldn't rule him out scoring if he does come on at some stage. Bog the Villain says no Doku. No, it's he's out, presumably injured. I know he was a doubt for tonight as well. And Martin Greenfield says, who handles Haaland? I think it has to be Diego Carlos has to take him tonight. But it will be interesting. It will be interesting. It's one of those ones that we know Diego Carlos isn't going to drift out to the right-hand side of defence. But we don't know whether Ezri Konsa is going to drift in and make it a back three. It's highly unlikely to be a back three. Like we've seen this, it's a back four with Ezri Konsa at right back. But I don't know. I would imagine it's going to be Carlos that has the detail to mark Haaland tonight. I would imagine that's what it's going to be. Where else are we? Where else? I'm going to scroll down here a bit. Back to basics says we're missing the X factor. I think was just hoping Ramsey Moreno and get right in the front foot. Concerned with Konsa not in the middle. He isn't the right back. I disagree. I think he's a right back. I just think that he's better at centre half. I would like to see him at centre half. And I would have thought in this game it would have been Cash at right back and Konsa at centre half. And this, if anything, the last two games and potentially against Arsenal as well will tell me as to whether we're like if he doesn't start playing Cash at right back, we're probably looking for a right back in January to come in and supplement the squad. But who knows? As I say, it's all speculation from here. Where else are we? Yeah, Noah Connington says, do not concede early. Do not concede early. That's exactly it. It's that's my thoughts on this as well. Early concession here for Villa will be very deflationary because I think that Man City will, like with that back four, they're four centre halves essentially. I know Walker isn't traditionally a centre half, he's a right back, but he's often played in the back three before. You know, they're going to really batten down the hatches. Stones is going to sit deep. It's going to be really hard to break them down tonight. It really is. So he says, if we win, Sky Sports News will ban us. Don't think they'll be able to, but as I say, we'll worry about winning first, and then we'll worry about what happens on Sky Sports News afterwards. Paul Gilston says, we're unbeaten since my son Paddy was born, so let's keep it going. Congratulations, Paul, and congratulations to Paddy and his great luck that he's bringing this team. So well done on that. More scrolling down. Where else are we? And Jacob Mead is very confident. He says anyone can get at City this season, conceded 4 at Chelsea and 3 at Spurs. That is true. And I suppose their back four was not too dissimilar to what they have out today. So that is a great point. Obviously, with the chopping and changing of players that they have, it takes time for cohesion and stuff. So maybe Aston Villa can get there. But the opposite side of that is this back four would have played together quite a lot. And you know, even in those games, they're probably learning to play with each other. And now maybe is when they do click. So hopefully it isn't when they click today. Extreme Viper HD says, my thoughts on Alex Banya being linked with him today. I have a few thoughts on him. We've been linked with him before, and rumor had it that he was very high on a list last January as well. I think he's a fine player. It surprises me that we're looking at more left-sided midfield players / sixes / tens. Banya can play across that line, play 6, 8, 10 for me. It surprises me that that's the position we're being linked with, but it doesn't surprise me that that's the quality of player, if he was to become available, that Villa could jump on. It probably spells the end of potentially Zaniolo or something like that, being that he's on loan. But it's going to take big money to get Banya from Villarreal. It'll take take probably north of 30 million euros, I'd say, to get him, unless he's got some release clause that I'm unaware of. But yeah, he's a nice player, and we'll start more into that as soon as we get these current run of fixtures out of the way. Brendan Townsend asks me, with Paddy missing, it's up to you, Neil, to tell us who of that Man City team gets in your team. Well, Kyle Walker gets in my team. Gvardiol gets in my team. Alvarez, Haaland, all get in my team. Bernardo Silva gets in my team. There's quite a lot. I'm glad Paddy isn't here because he would have asked that question. But I suppose if I only had to pick one, and I had to pick one player from that team that could come in and shore up Aston Villa, it probably would be Kyle Walker. Look, the obvious one is Haaland. Like, you can't turn down 40, 50 goals. You can't turn that down. But like, if it was anyone outside of him, I think it would probably have to be Kyle Walker for this season, because I think he would be amazing in Unai Emery's setup. I think he's exactly the player Unai Emery would like to be playing at right back, and I think he's trying to mold Konsa into that position. I think he'd be superb at that side as well. The Zen Zero is liking the podcast, first time in here. Well, hello to you too, sir. Thank you very much for joining. Really appreciate it. Right. Start popping in your predictions into the chat there, guys, and I'm going to get to them. I'll do the roundup in a moment. My final thoughts on this are, look, it's a lottery for Aston Villa tonight. They have the quality that they can go out to win this game for sure. A team can go out and win at home against any team. We can get something. Remember, we're 13 games unbeaten at Villa Park. This is to break the record. Wouldn't it be beautiful to do it against Manchester City, a team that we have struggled against since they've gotten their fame and fortune? But we're also a team in the up. The big thing for me today is we've exercised demons to some extent against Brighton, against West Ham, and those demons being the last to Liverpool and the last to Newcastle. Man City are an obvious step up again on that, so if we are to really look and say those early season slip-ups, more than slip-ups, those early season beatings, I suppose, is all you could really call them, against Liverpool and against Newcastle. If we were to avenge those, a great performance is due tonight. And anything out of it tonight, whether it be a point or whether it be a win, is as I say, is gravy time for Aston Villa. So with that, I'm still going to go with my positive prediction. I'm going to go 2-1 to Aston Villa, record broken, and Aston Villa are, like, it's a hopeful 2-1. Don't get me wrong, it's a hopeful 2-1, but I think that this team is capable of winning this game 2-1 today, specifically at home. And to every one of the 45,000 odd fans that are going to be in the stadium, they should roar their absolute nuts off, nads off, whatever it is. They're gonads, whatever it is. If you're female, get a packet of nuts and roar them off as well. And make sure that this team knows that you guys want them to win and break that record at Villa Park tonight against arguably the best team in Europe. Well, probably not arguably, the best team in Europe currently. So that's my final thoughts on it. I see loads of scores in there. Loads of scores. Okay, here we go. Rob Henry is going with 2-2. C. Liney is gone 2-2. Adam Johns is going with 3-3. Kodak Kadok Doc is going for 3-1. Daniel's going 2-0 Villa. Western Oud going 2-2. Sarko's going 3-1 City. 3-1 Villa says tie. 2-1 Flange Head says 2-1. Her heart says 4-1 to Aston Villa. Well, there we go. Dean Ellis says if we show up 3-1. James Carr's just going with the easy 4-4. Andy Brogan is going for 3-3. Dickie's going 2-0. 3-3 for Daniel as well. Standing says we lose 2-1. There's no need to be sorry for negativity. This is a game whereby pragmatism is absolutely allowed. So the likelihood is we will lose this game today. Jordan Levy's gone with 2-2. Sewer Sounds has gone with 2-1. Stephen Wright has gone with 5-4 either way. Well, then we might make second last and match of the day too. Credo goes with 3-1 to Villa. Tyra Roblox goes with the hope for a 3-0 tonight. Rich Edwards is going with 2-1. 2-2 says Paul Cox. 2-1 says Tom Salt. Anna O'Grady's going with 2-2. Stephen Brown's going with 2-2. Head says 2-1 Man City. But he's going for a 4-0 for Villa. That's Michael O'Brien. Nick Francis going 2-1 Villa. Rex Colt is going 2-2. I got the 2-2 right last game. Okay, sorry. So you're going with 2-1 City this time. Bolg says, regardless of the win, lose, or draw, I'll be tuning back in here, final whistle for a regular morale boost. Well, thank you for that. That's a service that I try. I will have a different background because I have to shoot off somewhere directly after this to try and make it for the game later on. And I will be broadcasting from somewhere else afterwards. But yeah, hopefully it won't be a morale boost, and hopefully it will be an jubilant and elative podcast afterwards, because Lee Johnson is going for 4-1 Villa, and that would definitely be a jubilant podcast. Dave Dwyer is going for 2-2. Zaniolo on Zaniolo is going to come on scoring winner, says Dean. 2-0, says Luke Chapman. PJ Coyne says 3-1 to City, maybe 3-2 to Aston Villa. Stanley and Hart says 2-1 Villa though. Clarifying that one there. Alistair says 3-3. Michael Smith says 3-1. Or sorry, 1-1 draw, should I say. Audrey says 2-1. Richie Ryan says 2-2. Noel Cunningham is saying 1-1. Steve Dunworth, Shindig Boo, says 2-0 Villa. Jam Jack says 2-0. Sargetus says 3-1 Villa. PJ Coyne is asking us, can we keep a clean sheet? Matt Parker's going for just a handy 6-6. Anyone can give me odds on that. We might put a charity bet on it. It would be an absolute belter. Patrick Hopkins is going 4-1 City. Shane Coleman going 2-1 Villa. Rayleigh going 2-2. Oh, why isn't that clicking? 2-2. Cat Cannon going 0-0. In this one, could happen, I suppose. Extreme Viper says 2-0 Villa. Feels like a 2-2 or 3-2 loss with Cons out right back. Techno Obliterator says 6-1. We're going to do a Brighton on them and shock the league. Rod Humble is going with 0-0. Colin Sloan is going with a 2-1. In case anyone is wondering, I haven't been taking heavy medication or drinking because I'm slurring my words. I genuinely can't see what's happening on the screen because StreamYard have made a change that when I click on something, I'm usually able to see it here on this side. So I have to keep on looking over here and I have to try and remember what I read before I clicked on it beforehand. So it's really annoying me. So if anybody from StreamYard is watching, sort it out, buddies. Sort it out. Michael Parsons is going with a 2-2. Mike Brosnan is going with a 7-2. Mr. Burrito is going with a 3-1. Andrew Long is going with a 2-1. Richard Edwards is going with a Watkins and Bailey. Presume that's a 2-0 win. AVFC Armchair Fan is going with 2-2. Ollie Fitton going with a 2-0. The Irish Villain is going for 4-2. Richard Chard is going 3-2. Seamus Costigan is going 2-1. Bootleg Remix going 4-1. John Tuff going for 4-4 or 2-2, sorry. See, I told you. Darren C is going with a 5-3 to Villa. Elijah Wilkes is going with a 2-1 Villa. The Fantastic Avenger is going with 4-1 City. We show up and it's a 4-3 or 4-4. Ozgerm is going 3-1 City. And Darren C is on to me. He said, don't be blaming StreamYard when it's old age. Look, some things are harder. It's harder to come to terms with old age than it is with City beating Villa tonight, Darren. So, yeah. So pray for me. Pray for me to try and come to age with it as well. Or trying to come to terms with it, should I say. And lastly, James Rutherford is going with 2-1 Villa. And that ends the roundup for tonight. Right. Going to see you all, you guys, after the game. Stay where you are, though, because you are going to be transported, or whatever you want to call it, directly over to AVC Stato's link to watch his watch along. He will be with you very, very soon. And then after that, he will pop you back into here again to watch our post-match podcast after Aston Villa beat Man City, hopefully. So thanks very much, everybody. And love that you read out the Fantastic Avenger. Okay. Thanks very much, everybody. I'm extremely distracted now, but thanks a million. Let's hope that we're talking about an Aston Villa win later on this evening. But get ready for the game. Get your libations, get your beverages, get your food in order, and sit back and watch this on Amazon Prime here if you're in the UK or in Ireland. And let's hope we're talking about a win afterwards. In the meantime, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.